Good morning. It's a little bit before 4 a.m. I'm up in Adam. Heading off to a property that I've hunted 3 times in the past and shot 2 birds with a bow. So it's a great property. I haven't scouted it this year yet, other than I guess once about 2 weeks ago I drove past at random and there were 2 toms out in different places in the field. So they're definitely in the area. I'm not sure where they're going to be roosted, but I've had a few successful hunts so far this year with the shotgun. Just haven't been able to put it together with the bow, and I've had a lot of success with the bow over the years. And if I don't, if I get skunked this year, that would be the first time in quite a long time that I haven't gotten one with the bow. So it's the tail end of the 5th time period here in Wisconsin, and I've got a tag that's valid for a few days yet, and then I've also got a tag for next week. So I'm gonna keep at it with the bow and see if I can show you big tom going down with the Mathews phase 4. Start tiptoeing in here to my listening spot and hopefully hear one gobble pretty soon. Gotta get in the blind. He's gonna be flying down anytime. Well, it took a while to hear a bird this morning, but I guess they woke up a little late. It was pretty cold yesterday. I don't know if that has any bearing on it, but it's already like time when you'd expect birds to be on the ground, and he's still gobbling from the roost. He's been answering my calls. I did hear a hen back here, but man, I feel good about my chances. This is where I saw a bird one afternoon when I drove by this property. Well, I just spotted a hen. She already flew down. It sounds like the tom finally flew down now. I assume he's gonna follow her out to this field. I'm not gonna be able to get a good zoom in on her with the lens I've got on, but I'll show you kind of where she's at. So I'm just watching for the tom now. I fully expect that he's gonna follow her out to the field. And this will be the second morning going after that gobbler I was on yesterday morning. He skirted the decoys about 80 yards out. He had 2 hens with him. That's all he cared about. So I'm going to pull the Jake decoy today and just go with hens and try and pull the hens in is what my strategy will be. I'm going to try and also just kind of redirect my setup. Yesterday I kind of set up a little fast because he started gobbling pretty late when it was already almost fly down time. So I should have a little bit better bearing on where to set up today and a little bit more time to do it. So stay tuned, we'll be in the blind soon. Alright, the tom is gobbling pretty steady. I can hear some other ones off in the distance. I think that I heard those a little bit yesterday, but they seem closer today. They're still a long ways away, but this one out in front, he's right where he was yesterday, so it's getting pretty light out. I'm assuming he'll fly down pretty soon. Sometimes turkeys can be so annoying. I set up right where the birds came through yesterday, and they did it before 6 o'clock. I would have had a really quick hunt if I was set up right here, but now this morning they seem to be held up in the woods. I'm not even sure if the tom has flown down from the roost yet, and it's full-on daylight. Sun's out. Beautiful, beautiful morning, but it's frustrating because you'd expect the first thing, just like yesterday, come out and strut in the field, but just held up in the woods, and I've got to get going to church, so I'm going to have to pull down my setup here pretty quick. And he shouldn't see me because he's in the woods. Come back and try him tomorrow. Alright, just want to bring you up to speed. So the other morning I had to leave that gobbling tom. I had to be to church, and he just wasn't coming out into the field, so left him alone. I might hunt him again. Meanwhile, I got permission to hunt on a different property, and so I'm going to check that out today. I didn't hunt this morning, had some stuff I needed to do and some sleep to catch up on, honestly. So going to check out this new property. I've hunted close to it. I actually hunted the adjoining property before. Should be a good spot. The landowner was doing some field work last night and saw a gobbler out there strutting with a hen. So know that they're definitely in the area, and gonna just kind of get a feel for the property here, see what it looks like. Just talked with the daughter of the landowner here. She just kind of showed me a little bit around, and so what I kind of figured out was way back there in that back field is probably a pretty good spot, as well as along those apple trees right there. So I'm gonna set up just past those apple trees, and get the decoys, you know, in an area where they're going to be visible from multiple locations. But this property lays out really well, especially for a nice morning hunt, getting in nice and early and not spooking the birds. Going to be pretty excited to try it out in the morning. I'm pretty much sure I'm going to hear gobbles, just a matter of if I can pull them in with my calling or not. So we'll see you in the morning. All right, just pulled into the property. It's good and dark out. I'm going to grab my blind, my bow, and slip on out there and get set up. All right, here's the scoop. So I've got a tom roosted just over here, maybe 100 yards or less. He hasn't gobbled since I set up, so I assume maybe he's a little on edge about me setting up. I haven't heard any butting or anything though, so that's good. But there's one behind the camera about 125 yards or something like that, and he's been gobbling like crazy ever, even after I set the blind up. So I don't think he's bothered at all by what I did. So it's probably the most beautiful morning of spring so far. It's nice and warm out. It's in the 50s right away here in the morning. It's going to be up in the mid to upper 70s later today. Just happy to be out here. And that makes it all that much better. What a pretty setting. Oh my goodness. Look at this. This is by far my favorite time. Once everything's really green, it's just, you can't beat it. Let's see what we got here. That is a big beard. You know, it's funny, I shot one other bird on the adjacent property over here, and he also had a crazy thick beard just like that. Well, I wish I could give you guys the 4D experience out here. It's just amazing with these apple blooms, the scent of those this morning, and just the dew-coated grass and all the sights and sounds. Just an epic spring morning. This is a brand new property I've never hunted on, and my mom was instrumental in getting me permission to hunt here. So I looked it over on the app, made some calculations as to what I thought the birds might do, and then I came and met with the landowner's daughter yesterday and ultimately decided this was the spot. And that's because there's 2 blocks of timber on either side of where I put the blind here, and it worked out perfect. There was a tom roosted on one side and a hen roosted on the other. She pitched down and milled around in the pasture. I eventually walked right behind the blind, which brought him within about 4 or 5 yards of the blind, and then that gave him a good look at the HDR Jake decoy from Avian X and the laydown hen. He got jealous and started beating it up. This is a good way to cap off the spring with the bow and finally get one. Nice big long spurs, big paintbrush beard. Couldn't be more thankful. Everything worked out awesome this morning.